So today we're going to get started with a really nice, really easy, hopefully, really chill warm up. So this is just to get into your body, move around a little bit, and get sort of acquainted with how things are feeling and how you're moving. So a lot of these stretches that we're going through might feel a little bit confusing at first because it might be some positions that you're not used to, or just some little stuff that you're having to think about that is all new. So if that's the case, it can feel a little bit overwhelming, and that's all right. So one of the things that we'll work on is continually coming back to this and doing it again and again and again so that that starts to feel more natural. You're not going to do something once and just have it, which is the exact same reason that you don't learn a language by just like reading a book in a different language and you just understand it completely. So we're just going to keep coming back and practicing it. So if anything feels weird or it's just not really working right and it's not gelling, don't worry about it. Just set it down. We'll come back to it. We'll practice it again later and it will start to feel better and better. So we won't need a ton of equipment for what we're doing today, but we'll need a few things to help things feel more comfortable. So we're going to need a folded up blanket or towel or a little pillow, just basically something that you can use to put your head on. We'll use a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, you could use like a water bottle or a small foam roller, or basically something about this size that's light enough to move around. And we'll need a relatively heavy band or a belt or a blanket. So one of the bands that's heavy enough that when you kind of pull it and grab on it, it doesn't move too much. So we're going to go ahead and start laying on our backs. And we're going to be here for a little while, so feel free to arrange yourself in a way that helps you to feel as comfortable as possible. So you're going to take your little towel, you're going to put it under your head and give yourself some support there. And we're going to keep our knees bent to start with, but if you notice that you want to have your feet in a particular place so that your back doesn't hurt, if anything feels achy, you can feel free to do that. So I like to have my hands on my hips, kind of on the front of my hips for this one. So if you're comfortable with that, go ahead and try that on. Hands to your hips. We're going to do what's called a pelvis cat-cow, meaning we're going to be focusing on our hips and what they're doing while we're doing a cat-cow. And if you have no idea what a cat-cow is, don't worry about it. That'll come up later. So all we're going to do is lie here. We're going to take a big breath in and exhale, sigh it out. Again, big breath in and big sigh it out. Now we're going to get into that cat-cow. So hands are going to be on the hips. You're going to go ahead and tuck your tailbone. So pulling your tailbone underneath you so that your low back rolls toward the ground. It might press into the ground. If you have a lot of room between your low back and the ground, you can always take your hands under your low back. You're going to tuck your tailbone, and then you're going to reverse it. So you're going to arch your back, think push your hips into the ground, lifting at your stomach so that there's a little bit more of a gap between your low back and the ground. Then we're going to reverse it. So we're going to tuck, and then we're going to arch. So think poke your tailbone back behind you, tuck your tailbone underneath you. And if this is feeling not super comfortable, don't worry about it. You can keep this super small, little baby tuck, little baby arch. And just take your time here, kind of doing this at your own speed, your own tempo. And remember, you can take a break whenever you need to. Let's go ahead and link our breath with this. So go ahead and come back to neutral so your hips aren't doing anything in particular. And now we're going to go ahead and inhale through our nose, and we're going to poke our tailbone back behind us, so arching our back. Inhale, little arch. And exhale. Roll your tailbone underneath you. Tuck your tailbone as you exhale. And then inhale, you'll arch. And exhale, you'll tuck. And you'll probably be breathing at a different speed than I am, and that's fine. Wherever you're at, just focus on linking your inhale to your arch and your exhale to your tuck. And if you get messed up and you start doing it backwards, that's okay. You're not going to hurt anything. We're We're just trying to get our breath to follow our movement. Let's do one more. Nice slow inhale. Nice slow exhale. And then we'll release that and we'll come back to center. So from here, we're going to try a pigeon stretch. So we're going to go ahead and take one leg and we're going to straighten it. Then we're going to take the other leg, we're going to hook our ankle onto our shin. So just below our knee, somewhere on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this leg that's bent, we're going to pull our toes toward our knee, and then think about having our leg fall open. You might notice you have a pretty good stretch here and you feel good, this is all you need. But if you feel like you need a little bit more stretch, you can go ahead and take your foot and scoot it to the front of your thigh above your knee joint, because we don't ever want to be resting right on our knee joint. And then same thing, letting that knee fall open. We're keeping our foot flexed, meaning that we're pulling our toes toward our knee to help protect that knee joint. If you need a little extra but you don't want to change position, you can grab your block, set it on your leg, and then lightly rest your hand on it to maybe push down just a little bit. And take a deep breath in. And long breath out. Very nice. If you want to stay here, you can do that. If you want to add more stretch, we're going to take this leg that's straight and we're going to go ahead and scoot it up so it's bent. So it's bent like it was when we were doing our cat-cows. And then same thing, we're just going to see if we can use some more stretch here. And if so, we're going to take our block, press it into our knee, very, very gently, thinking about pressing that hip open. You might notice some stretch in your hip, maybe in your low back, maybe in your inner thigh. That's fine. Wherever it's stretching is great as long as it's not hurting. Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And again, in and out. And if you're not synced up with me on breath, don't worry. Just focus on finding your breath even as we're trying to move through your body. Let's go ahead and release this side. So you're going to take this leg that we were just stretching, it's going to come off your leg and it's going to straighten down onto the ground. Now this leg that we were just using for support is going to be our stretching leg. You're going to take that ankle and you're going to go ahead and lay it onto your shin. Flex your foot, pulling your toes toward your knee, letting that knee fall open. Take a deep breath in. And when you're ready, sigh it out. Again, breathing in and out. And if you're ready for more, go ahead and scoot that ankle up above your knee, staying on your thigh. Deep breath in and deep breath out. And again, breathing in and out. If you'd like a little more, you can take that block without moving your leg and just go ahead and use it to help you press into your knee. So if your leg's up a little high, you can use your hand to just press it down just a little bit. Maybe a little bounce into that, maybe a little press release. Try and keep tuned into your breath as much as you can. But if you're focusing on too many things at once and it's starting to stress you out, just let go of whatever thing is stressing you out the most to focus on whatever feels the most doable. If you'd like a little extra stretch, go ahead and take this leg that's straight out on the ground and bend it, plant that foot, and then same little pigeon. So leg is bent, thinking about flexing your foot, pulling your toes up, stretching into that hip, and breathing deeply. If you want to grab that block to give yourself a little extra stretch, you can try that. And if that's not working for you, don't worry about it. of these stretches are really suggestions more than anything. There's no particular type of stretch that's better or worse by some arbitrary standard. The only thing we're looking for is a stretch that's enough for where you're at right now. And that might change from day to day, or depending on if your illness is illnessing, things like that. So wherever you're at, just try and meet yourself there. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and you'll set the block to the side if you were using it. And we're gonna go ahead and take both feet onto the ground with your knees bent. Take a second here, take a deep breath in. And exhale, sigh it out. And from here, we're gonna just take some little knee knocks from side to side. So if you need to watch me, you can. We're gonna keep this movement really, really small. And all we're gonna do is keeping our knees bent just how they are. Feet, we don't wanna have be too far away from us or too close. It's just kind of whatever feels comfortable. You're gonna go ahead and inhale in, and then exhale. Let your knees fall over just slightly to one side as you exhale. And then on an inhale, you're gonna draw your knees back to center, and exhale. Let your knees fall over to the other side. Again, inhale, center. Exhale, fall. Maybe they can go a little farther this time, maybe not. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, switch sides. So we'll do this on your own pace, on your own time. You might want to go a little faster, a little slower than I am. And I don't want you to worry about how far you're going. I just want you to let your knees move. You might get a little bit of a stretch in the front of your hip, maybe along the side of your body. And if you notice that this crunches into your low back, just keep those knee movements a little bit smaller. And we're just trying to find something that feels like it's enough, but not too much. And that can be a little bit hard to find. So it's just a practice of finding that and eventually getting more and more comfortable with finding those places. And go ahead and take one last fall to one side on an inhale, or an exhale, I mean. And then as you inhale, you'll come back. And now we're going to go ahead and grab our heavy band or our belt or blanket so that we can do a hamstring stretch. So we're going to leave one leg bent and planted on the ground. That's going to just be a supporting leg. Then we're going to take another leg, the other leg, and you're going to lift it up just a bit so that you can fling your belt around it. Then you're just going to go ahead and grab your belts on either side so that you can support yourself. And then we're gonna work on stretching our hamstring, which is this muscle along the back of our thigh. Now here, we never really wanna stress the hamstring too much because it doesn't like to be yanked on. So we're just gonna try and find something that's nice and gentle here. So you're gonna go ahead and use this heavy band to your advantage. So you can put your knee wherever feels comfortable. Or comfortable is relative, but wherever this feels the most doable. So I'm gonna start keeping my foot or my leg relatively pointing away from me. So from here, you're gonna inhale and exhale, big sigh. And then on your next inhale, you're gonna straighten your leg as far as it can go without forcing it. Inhale, and then exhale, you'll bend. And then maybe that one felt pretty good, so you can try straightening your leg a little more the next time. Inhale and exhale. And nice and slow on your own time, you're just gonna straighten your leg and bend your leg. And if you're noticing that when you straighten your leg, you get any pains or discomforts in your low back, you're gonna go ahead and give yourself a little more room on the band so your leg goes further away from you. And then that should ease that up just a little bit. Take your time here. And then whenever you've had enough of this one, even if I haven't stopped yet, you can feel free to stop. And I'll catch up when I'm ready. But if you're still with me, we're going to do 3 more. And if you're noticing that the breathing is too fast, you can just focus on long, slow inhales and slow, deep exhales instead of linking your breath to any part of this movement. Last one. I did a bonus because I was talking. And then you're going to go ahead and let that go. You're going to release that band. And then you're going to go ahead and take that band and loop it around the other leg. Good. Once you get situated with the bands, your hands are holding it on either side of your leg. You're just going to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then you're just going to inhale nice and gently as you straighten your leg. And then bend your leg. And I want you to, as you keep doing this with the straightening and bending, I want you to treat this like you've never done it before. I don't want you to think about what the other side was doing as a way to judge what this side is doing. Because you might notice one side might need something totally different than the other side. You might be able to straighten your leg more. You might need to move one leg farther away from you than the other using that band. And if that's the case, that's great. That's a wonderful thing to notice, and then you can go ahead and give yourself whatever your body needs right now. And if you have a little more room, you can take that band to scooch a little closer to you. If you're noticing less room, go ahead and move your hands down the band so that your leg can move farther away from you. If you're noticing any difference on your back this time, you might not want to straighten your leg as much or move your leg farther away from you. It's really normal to have differences from side to side, so just notice it and don't judge it. Checking in with your breath. Long, slow inhales and slow, deep exhales. And if you're ready to stop, you can stop. If you're ready for a little more, we're going to do 3 more straighten and bend. And last one here. Very nice. After you finish bending that leg, you're going to take the band, you're going to set it to the side. Both feet are going to come back on the ground with those bent knees. And then we're going to take those little knee knocks from side to side one more time. So inhale and exhale, knees are going to fall to the side. Inhale takes you back to center. And exhale, fall to the other side. You might notice that this time you have a little bit more room as you keep inhaling back to center and exhaling to one side. And if that's the case, fantastic. And if that's not the case, also fantastic, because we're noticing and we're not judging. And you might go a little farther than you did, and maybe that doesn't agree with you. So if that's the case, you'll come back to center and see if you take those knee knocks and make them smaller, if that feels a little bit better. And if it does, then we'll go ahead and do that for a little while. Let's do 1 more on each side. I'll exhale to fall over. Inhale back to center. Exhale to fall. Inhale center. And go ahead and relax here for a minute. So next we're going to go ahead and work on stretching out our chest. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything that might be near you and scoot it away so we just have a little bit of room. And then all you're going to do is you're going to take your arms, put them straight up ahead of you. Palms are going to be facing each other. Now you're going to take your palms together. You're going to bend your elbows so that your hands are coming right above your forehead. And now you're going to take your arms in this L shape and take them out to the side. Now you might be able to rest your hands on the ground comfortably. And if you can, very cool. If this isn't super comfortable, you can keep your hands up a little bit and think about reaching your hands down toward the ground. And if this is feeling pretty comfortable here, that's cool. I want you to work on pulling your shoulders down away from your ears and lifting your chest. So depending on where you're tight, you might have a lot of sensation here and you might not have very much. Either is fine. And we're going to just go ahead and take our arms back to that L shape in front of our face, and then opening back up into that L shape with both arms on the ground. So getting into our chest a little bit here, letting our shoulders relax. If you want to link your breath to this, you can inhale as you bring your arms together, and exhale as you bring your arms apart. Checking in with your jaw, seeing if there's any tension. Go ahead and relax it, and relax your tongue if you do notice that you're starting to tense your head or your jaw or your neck. Last time, we'll inhale in, and we'll exhale out. And then we're just going to rest here for a bit. Check in, see how you feel. If you'd like to stay here, you can stay here and just stretch. If you'd like to add on to this, we're going to add a little reach. So what this is going to look like is laying down just how you are. I want you to think about keeping your shoulders down away from your ears, and you're going to scoot your arms up like you're reaching overhead, but trying really, really hard to keep your shoulders down. And then you're going to draw your elbows down your sides. So you might even come past that L shape a little bit more. And when you do this, you might notice you get a little bit more stretch in your chest. And if that's the case, cool. And then you're going to reach back overhead like you're reaching for something over the top of your mat. And then draw your elbows back down. Very nice. And nice and slow, just like that. You can inhale as you reach up, and exhale as you bring your arms down. And you might notice that you're kind of wanting to lift your chest as you come down. And I'm okay with it if you do that, because I want to see if we can find a stretch across the front of your body. So if lifting your chest helps you feel more stretch, go ahead and do that. If trying to keep your chest down helps you get more stretch, go ahead and do that. Let's do 2 more. Drawing down and lifting up. Last time, drawing down, lifting up. And then we're going to come back to that L shape. Go ahead and release out of that. Shake out your hands. Maybe take some little wiggles. Then we're going to get into our very last thing. Same thing, legs are going to stay bent, and we're going to do some glute squeezes. So our glutes are the big muscles on the back of our hips, and they're in charge of lots of things in our body, but they also tend to get sleepy. So we're going to see about waking them up. So what you're going to do here is you're just going to squeeze your butt and release, and squeeze your butt and release. And sometimes it can help if you actually put your hands on those muscles so you can try and figure out which ones are actually working. And we'll just squeeze and release, and squeeze and release. And you might notice as you keep squeezing and releasing that it's really, really hard to tune into those muscles. And that's okay. If that's the case, if that's you, welcome to the club. And it gets better with practice. So we're just going to keep trying and keep trying it again and again over time and seeing how it goes. Because if you keep showing up, it will improve. Let's do 4 more. That's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. And just like that, several very short minutes later, you're all set. Look at that. Amazing. You survived. Well, hopefully this went well. Please keep me posted how it goes. Tell me how it went. And if you have any questions, please ask. That's why I'm here. All right. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.